What's going on, buddy?
Yo, season finale of Film Fights with Friends.
26 episodes.
Yes.
This is number 26. It's amazing. I never thought we'd get here. We are on the season finale.
And I am your host, Stephen Koepfer.
And I am your other host, Paul Varacchi.
Yeah.
And this is Film Fights with Friends podcast.
Yeah, totally. So, like...
yeah, totally. Shut up.
Dude. Yeah, whatever. But, like, so... For this finale episode, we figured we wouldn't have a guest in. We would just go over some of our favorite moments from the season.
For sure.
I mean, this is episode 25.
25. We have a lot of cool
plus
moments.
Plus our pilot. This is, so we have 25 episodes before this. So we're going to go over through some of our favorite
We got some recapping
guests,
to do.
Moments.
It's going to be like that final episode of when my wife watches of like Desperate Housewives when they just talk about the whole season.
Usually those recap episodes
kind
of suck, though. I don't know. Truth is, we couldn't figure it out, so we're just like, let's just do a recap episode.
Right? Why not?
Yeah,
screw it.
But before we get into it, we do need to thank lots of people.
So many people, all of our sponsors from the entire season,
from the beginning to the end, that made this show possible.
I mean, Tactical Black.
Yes,
thank you so much.
Yeah,
you jumped on right from the beginning.
Right from the beginning, Tactical Black jumped in. I don't know what to say except thank you.
Thank you. Like that's all we can say, you know. And also Metro Camera Cars.
Metro Camera Cars.
We love you, buddy. Thank you for helping us get started.
Dude, as soon as we told Joe we were starting the podcast,
he's like, I'm in.
He was there to help.
Yep.
Yeah, totally. And the sponsors that are sponsoring this specific episode.
Fight or Flight Entertainment.
Fight or Flight Entertainment.
Brett Copes, we love you, buddy.
Yeah, man. The whole season, Brett's been here.
He has supported us, and he was even on an episode.
Yes, he was. It was a great episode too.
It was a good episode,
dude. I love his little promo for the episode.
We'll talk about it later.
I'll always have a harness on, but I may not always have my pants on.
Yes.
That's Brett Copes for you, ladies and gentlemen. That's not what it says when he, that's not on his stunt listing profile, though. Dude, and Stunt Contact.
Stunt Contact.
Yeah, from day one.
Your one-stop shop for anything that's going on in production.
A great breakdown. I mean, we basically, if you listen to any of these episodes all season, you hear us sing the praises of these people because we know them all personally. We've worked with them, and their sponsorship of this show made this show entirely possible.
Yep.
Yeah. It wouldn't have happened without.
No, it would not.
No. The other people it wouldn't happen without are our paying Patreon members.
Our Patreon members, and as much like we love our sponsors, we love our Patreon members.
Yeah,
and the more we see when we go in and we check all of our stats for the week, it makes us so happy when we see new Patreon members, and not because you can be a Patreon member and not pay.
We love you too.
We love you too. But those members that throw us a little something every month, towards the end of the season, that adds up, and we really really appreciate it.
That's what keeps us going. After the sponsorship money comes in, that's like the lifeblood.
It's the beer.
Yeah. So let's give them a shout. Marjorie Thomas, Ariel Elganian, Kristen Murphy, who's been on our show, Roberta Koepfer. I have no idea who that is.
Who's that woman?
Mom.
Stupid last name.
Yeah. Is your buddy Nas? Is that his real name, Nas?
Nas.
Yes.
Nas Frangoul. You don't put him in a. You don't use him in the turbo booster car.
Nas. Nas from Queensbridge. Not the right Nas.
No.
Dude, come on, everybody loves Nas.
Nas is the band. I mean,
yeah, fuck yeah, man. Preston Thomas.
Andy didn't sell out.
No. Preston Thomas, who was also on the show. I'm seeing a pattern here.
Maybe
if you're a Patreon paying member, you might get on the show.
Interesting.
Ted Williams. Ted,
we love you, Ted.
Ted, we love you, Ted. Thank you for sponsoring. And, of course, Alejandra Guevara. From the beginning, amazing stunt performer.
Yep.
Alejandra, you're the best.
Thank you all.
Thank you all for sponsoring us.
Yeah. And now...
one last plug.
Yeah, what you got?
Yeah, September.
Oh.
Coming up in September is the Art of Movie Making Film Festival.
That's right.
So we are definitely going to have the winner of the Best Stunt Performance competition.
On the podcast.
On the show. Great film festival. Link in the show notes, how to submit. If you have a short film, feature film segment that you want to submit, definitely check it out.
Now, people can also submit for these other categories as well, the same way,
of course.
Right? Okay, great. So, again, the other categories are special effects,
makeup, wardrobe, costume,
puppet,
set deck, puppets,
like everything. So
everything. Claymation. They have a stop animation category.
So not only it doesn't have to be fight oriented. If you think of anything that's worthy of this, please,
listen. The stunt segment doesn't even have to be fight oriented. Mm-hmm. It's just stunt oriented.
Exactly.
It's a great festival, and they celebrate all the crafts of movie making.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just best actor or best, it's all the other people we never really hear much about, or at least the ones that win awards that are not on the televised portions.
Yeah, right.
Right. So listen, if this is your first episode, then go follow us, subscribe, like, show us love wherever we are.
And
wherever you're finding us.
You got 25 more episodes to go back and catch up on, guys.
Yeah, write a review. Give us some love. You don't have to pay for this show, so one way you can pay for this show is to give us a nice review, please. Mm-hmm. 5 stars, all that
Thumbs
kind
up,
of stuff.
Follow, anything.
And jump on our mailing list. It's fightingwithfriendspod@gmail.com. Let us know you want to be in the mailing list, and we'll get you on there.
For sure.
But other than that, Paul, before we get into our favorite moments of the season, what have you been up to, dude?
I mean,
what have you been up to?
What the fuck?
He's supposed to be a guest.
What are you talking about?
You're both supposed to be guests. You asked me to be a guest host.
Did you ask him?
Dude, this is your friend. I don't know this guy.
What?
Get out of here.
Dude, there's a reason we cut the video on your episode. All right.
You two, you're the guests. Okay. We're flipping it.
All right. Let's pull up a chair.
All right.
Josh.
Let's get you a chair. Let's get you a beer.
All right.
Let's do it.
Cool.
Okay. We're flipping the script, turning the tables.
Paul, how did this happen?
I don't know. I don't like this. I don't like being questioned. Weird. Do I need a lawyer?
We've let you guys mess it up for 24 episodes, 25 episodes. There was one good one in there. Number 2. It was the only good one.
Yeah, it's the only good one. Has the least number of downloads.
So if you're just tuning in, it's a hidden gem. It's a cult favorite. If you're just tuning in, we're flipping the script. We're turning the tables. We're going to interview Steve. And what's your name again? Paul.
Yep, that's it.
We're going to talk to them about how they do what they do, how they got into it. So, welcome to Film Fights with Friends. So, I'm going to start. I know Steve better than I know you, so I'm going to start with you.
Okay. Oh, God.
'Cause I've known Steve for probably 12 years now.
I want a lawyer.
Something like that.
I already don't like this. I want a lawyer.
Like
no.
You're already under the gun.
Steve's my lawyer. That's the problem.
So let me ask you this. You're gonna like it. When was the first time you started training in martial arts?
I mean, the first time I started training in martial arts, I would say was realistically the day I don't remember, but Joe Geralt, one of did you ever was he?
It was a Wednesday.
Was Joe ever was Joe ever a student of yours officially? Or was he a student of Riley's?
He trained with us a bit after Riley left New York.
So one night, basically, somebody saw me get in a fight outside of a restaurant I was working at.
Okay.
And he saw me go up against 3 guys, and he was like, "Look," he goes, "if you can jog home with me, like if you jog home with me, he's like, I will take you to a place and I'll show you how to really fight."
Oh wow!
So I was like, "Okay, done." And I was drunk, obviously.
Yeah.
Fighting 3 guys outside of my restaurant, I had to be drunk. So I was like, okay, and not thinking about how far the jog was. So I agreed to like a 5.5 mile jog, and I could not stop. And Joe was an Army sniper. Mm-hmm. So he just yelled at me the entire way.
Yeah, yeah.
And I did not stop for 5.5 miles. And then a week later, he goes, in a week, when you can feel your legs, he goes, I will take you somewhere. And he took me to a place called the Fight House.
Oh, I know Fight House.
So he took me to the Fight House, and I trained, and I met a guy named Ahrue Luster. Mm-hmm. And through there, I met Steve shortly thereafter.
Well, what year was this?
Boy, this had to be 2004.
I'm trying to think. Riley was teaching at
2005.
Yeah, 6-ish.
Yeah, 2006.
Because I think Riley only just joined my gym in 05 or 06. So probably like 2 years or so before he started teaching classes over at Fight House.
And what classes did you take at Fight House?
So
they did have jiu-jitsu there for a while.
Yeah. So basically, I had odd talent for someone who was just getting into the fight game. When Joe took me to my first day, you know, where he's like, okay, let's go to this place.
Wait, who the fuck was... pause.
Yeah.
Who the fuck invites a total stranger on a 5-mile jog?
An army sniper.
Yes, you're gonna... if you can jog with me, what is this? Like...
Yeah.
I will teach you.
Dude, and he screamed at me the whole way and didn't let me stop.
That's awesome.
Like, I would stop to take a breath, dude. He would fucking yell, and I was like, all right, fucking, I'm jogging.
Did you know this guy at all or no?
Joe? I mean, he was a waiter in the restaurant, and he and I got along real well.
You worked
he was a waiter in the restaurant. We worked together, and I was working on the, you know, it was at the Spotted Pig.
Mm-hmm. And, Spotted Pig? I know the Spotted Pig. Oh,
so it's when I was working there. So there was, I got lots of crazy stories at that fucking place. So
he's like, this interview is going a whole different direction.
Right? So basically, I go and I do a sparring session with Joe in front of Riley, and Joe beats the shit out of me. He hits me with a left hook and a spinning heel kick, and I literally like landed both clean, and I just put my hand in the air and took a knee, and I was like, okay, I need a second.
Yeah.
And then went through, and then afterwards, Riley basically comes up to me. He goes, look, man, he goes, you can't fight for shit.
Yeah.
He goes, but you have great poise when you're getting hit.
Yeah.
He's like, so, and that comes from, I'm just going to cut it short, but that comes from an entire childhood of being abused, and being beaten by my fucking stepfather.
Yeah.
So getting hit was okay for me.
Yeah.
And he's like, so look, here's the deal, man. If you train for whatever I have someone fighting for. So he was trained, you know, had a bunch of guys on training, fighters. He had grapplers, he had kickboxers, he had sambo guys, whatever. And he's like, listen, he goes, whatever I have a guy training for, he goes, you learn that and you be their sparring partner.
Oh, that's awesome.
That was how I learned martial arts. So if there was somebody on the fight team that was Kyokushin, I learned Kyokushin rules and I was a sparring partner. American style kickboxing, Muay Thai kickboxing, jiu-jitsu, whatever the tournament was, whatever it was, I was the sparring partner.
So you had to soak up all of that stuff.
So I had to soak it all up.
And I almost think that's a better way of training.
And
really.
that was how I learned, how I got into martial arts.
You were an adult, basically.
I was probably 27.
And you were a bit of a brawler.
I was a bit of a brawler. I mean, my past, obviously, kind of made me have a bit of a short temper.
Yeah,
he was an adult.
Right.
Finger quotes.
Yeah, big fucking finger quotes.
Yeah.
So yeah,
a lot of fights. Did you win that fight against the three guys?
I did. That was why he was like, he was basically, because it was like me, maniac psychoing, like running after three guys. But it was just that thing. Like getting hit didn't bother me. So,
yeah. Well, and that's an important talent. A lot of people, it bothers a lot of people.
It never bothered me. It's funny.
I mean, we got hit a lot.
Students in the gym. Steve's there all the time. He's like, how do I get good at getting hit? And Steve sees me. I roll my eyes and I'm like, I hate answering this question. I was like, what?
You get hit a lot.
Get beat your childhood.
Yeah.
And I was like,
I mean, we have that in common because that's, getting beat up a lot.
Yeah.
And by a lot, I'm talking a minimum of 5 times a week. Definitely influences your choices later on.
For sure.
So that was almost 20 years ago.
Right? Yes.
Yeah, 2006, 2007. Yeah, it's going
18,
on
19.
Yeah.
And then I would say probably 2 years after that, maybe, I started, he took me to
Sambo.
New York Combat Sambo.
Well, yeah, because eventually Riley moved to Texas. No, he moved to Louisiana first because his wife got a job, Teachers for America after Katrina. So he moved down there. And then his students started training at my place. That's how I met Paul.
And Riley was a master of what?
He was my student, a sambo. He was a sambo guy.
Student?
Yeah, he came to me. I think he had a brown belt in a traditional karate style before that. And then I know he had moved to New York to go to School of Visual Arts for video game design. And then he dropped out, never finished, and then became a martial arts guy. Yeah, and started training with me.
His focus was grappling and striking and
Dude,
much
he
everything.
Never studied grappling before training with me, and then he's now super well known as a grappler. I mean, I'll take credit for like giving him his foundation and getting him started, and then and then once he moved to Texas, I think that was in 2010. He's gone on to get his BJJ black belt, compete a lot, and he was at one point he's ranked number 6 in the world in sambo in his weight class. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
After he won the Pan American championships.
That's awesome. So we talked about you. We talked about Riley. Let's talk about you. So now I've known Steve, like I said, I think since 2014, 2013, probably.
Something like that, yeah.
But I have seen a photo of you doing Sancho.
Oh, right.
Younger.
Yeah.
And I was grinning because I hadn't met anyone who'd done Sancho except for Matt Pauly.
Right.
Which we have. We're mutual friends with Matt Pauly.
Yeah, Matt Pauly. Actually, his book is right there, the Bruce Lee book. Yeah.
Yep. And we were at the same book signing.
Is that where we met for the first time?
We didn't meet there.
Oh,
we were. You told me you were there, and I was there, and they had an MMA fight before.
That was underground. Underground. It was the best book signing ever.
Yeah,
it was
awesome.
It was Matt's book and Jim Jennia's book.
Yes, Jim.
Raw Combat.
Yes.
Yeah, and I was featured in both books.
Yes, that's right.
So it was, it was the book signing party, the publishing party, at which they had underground MMA fights.
Mm-hmm. It was really awesome.
That's awesome.
Yeah, Danaher was there too.
Danaher was there in full rash guard mode.
Yeah, I didn't even know I knew nothing about him at that time.
Yeah,
and he was sitting on a medicine ball just watching everything.
Well, back then he wasn't. That was pre Danaher Death Squad days. Really.
Yes, he hadn't really, blossomed out yet into what he was going to be. But it was a good time. I had adapted Matthew's book American Shaolin into a television pilot, and so that's why he invited me there.
One of my favorite books ever.
It's a good book. When they sent it to me, just going to say, when they sent it to me as a PDF, right? Or no, actually Microsoft Word document.
Really?
So I start reading it. I said, this seems familiar, right? Start reading it. I had read the book already. I hadn't, because they sent it to just blank page, and I didn't recognize it because it didn't have the cover and everything.
That's funny. Yeah.
And I read it, and I realized I hadn't read it before. So how old were you when you first started martial arts?
7-ish.
7 years old?
7. My first martial arts was Shotokan karate. My mom put me. It was basically daycare karate. Mm-hmm. Like, so my mom was a professor at Queens College. I was a latchkey kid. Yeah. My dad was a fireman. Mm-hmm. So Queens College had programs for the faculty to put their kids in while they were, So that's how I got started. Probably did Shotokan for about 2 years when I was like, I don't know, 8, 9, something like those 2 years. And then I didn't pick it up again until high school-ish, like when I did Taekwondo, like everybody did in the 80s.
Yeah, we all did Taekwondo in the 80s. It was kind of you had to. It was
and then,
it was there.
And then it's been consistent since. I haven't stopped.
It's like when us being martial artists, when you meet someone and you're like, oh, hey, have you ever done martial arts before? And you're like, any Taekwondo before you were 15 does not count.
Yes.
I was at Taekwondo during that crazy time, like I started pre-Olympic and I quit post-Olympic.
That was smart because it changed.
Yeah, so I saw the changes. I saw the transition happening.
Yeah, and for those who were listening and wondering, in 1988 they had the Olympics in Seoul, Korea, and Taekwondo was a demonstration sport. And before that happened, well, first of all, they go to Kokiwon and they set the standards for everywhere. They tell you how you're going to teach it in this country. And
Kokiwon, Kokiwon is like the Kodokan for Taekwondo.
Yes, and before that, it was actually really hard to get a black belt in Taekwondo. You had to actually fight. You had to actually break boards and bricks, and kids couldn't have a black belt. Yeah, you got like a red and black belt if they were under 16. And then after that, they decided, well, there's a lot more money in this in kids, so we're going to start investing in the kids program.
I remember,
and it was a lot less intense because we used to beat the shit out of each other because
some of the older guys that I was training with were still doing the Shotokan forms before the WTF forms became universal. Yeah, and the World Taekwondo Federation, which is now
something else.
It's World Taekwondo. I think they took the F out.
Yeah,
but. Yeah.
It's like, I feel like,
I got my black belt.
Is that the stuff where they like have the big foamy things on and they just kind of like scream and touch each other?
Not really.
Well, now they have different even gear.
I'm like, because that's what I'm like.
That was touch karate. That's a very different thing.
Oh, okay.
And actually, Olympic Taekwondo was full contact.
Yeah.
Right. No, I mean afterwards, not before. I know what Olympic, but you're saying when they changed it afterwards, I was like, did it become more like?
But we were sparring when I first started Taekwondo with those. Not the foam dip stuff, but
it was
like
just
the
a regular,
sock, like the one that was like a sock with a little bit of foam on the inside.
Hard with that thing.
Yeah.
I mean, it was
And we had Friday night.
Like the ones they used in Best of the Best.
Yeah, we had Friday night fights, and because my teacher also, I don't know how accurate it was, or it was just marketing, but he did Hapkido, so we were practicing some throws, some basic stuff.
So did we.
Yeah. So we were punching, kicking, throwing, and then it all stopped eventually.
Yeah.
In fact, we used to, early on in my Taekwondo training, which probably started in pre-Olympics or whatever, 80s.
In the 80s, yeah.
And then we were doing belt wrestling as part of the warm-ups.
Oh, man.
Like, it was like Shiram. For those listening, Shiram is essentially like Korean sumo.
Yes.
And he would have us lock grips on the belts and who could throw each other first.
Yeah.
And then eventually that all just stopped.
Yeah, all the stuff where you could get hurt stops.
Yeah.
And it didn't used to be that way. I think Joe Rogan tells a great story about when he was competing in Taekwondo. He was very competitive. He went to California.
His highlight reel is pretty badass.
He went to California and was competing in a world championship and caught somebody with the spinning wheel kick and knocked them the fuck out.
Yeah.
And when I said knock him out, the guy was out for 45 minutes.
I've seen this interview.
Yeah, you've seen it. And then he goes back and talks to his Korean master and he says, I was scared. I thought
they
he died. And they go, yes, sometimes they die. And that was how it was.
Dude, what the fuck?
That was how
sometimes
it was.
Sometimes
they die. And before the Olympics in 1988. And then they changed it all. I mean, the Taekwondo guy, it was very tough, and he's a black belt in judo, hapkido, and Taekwondo, and just he was a very dangerous man. That's the way I say it.
88 was the demonstration, and then 92 was the first full Olympic sport. Yeah.
And then that's when you saw the evolution in that 4 years, and it happened really fast.
It did.
Yeah, and it sort of changed everything overnight.
I got my black belt in 93, and then I left by 95. Started doing Sanshao and stuff.
Yeah, I got mine in 87, and then I kept with it, but until about 94 when I got into Muay Thai. So you did Taekwondo until then, and then when did you get into grappling? Or when did you get into Sanshou?
So right from Taekwondo, I was looking around. Mm-hmm. Funny story. I don't think I've told this story. No. This is a bit of a reveal. But I wanted to write a book about different martial arts. So I started taking classes in like all these different schools. Not really with the goal of figuring out where I was going to train, but I just wanted to write.
Yeah, write about it. Right.
Yeah, to write about it, and I ended up going to at that time it was called New York Kung Fu and Kickboxing Academy, and that's where I started studying Sanshao and Lama Pai Kung Fu.
Is that place in Chelsea, or am I thinking of a different place?
They were when I first found them, it was like end of 1995, before the winter holidays. And they were down in Chinatown or something. And then they closed there. They reopened Uptown by Chelsea in beginning of 1996. Okay. So that's where I started training. And then,
I remember the place. I actually went and visited it. So, yeah, I remember.
And then they became eventually, it was always New York Kung Fu Kickboxing Academy while I was there. Then the two owners kind of parted ways and started their own schools and whatever.
And when did you drift into grappling?
Unofficially while I was there, because we were doing like rudimentary grappling. Like a lot of people.
That's what people forget. Sanshou, the lot of kung fu, there's grappling in there. It actually has its roots in.
I mean, that's where Chinese, I was learning to throw people for the first time. Well, not really the first time, because I was doing the Hapkido stuff, but it was like I competed in Sanshou in 98.
Yeah, I saw the picture. You're gonna have to dig up the picture, man, and show it.
Oh yeah.
He's like skinny. You've seen it.
We'll put it in the show notes. It'd make me feel guilty about being a fat fuck right now. But it's basically like, so 98 I competed. There was a world tournament. It was like the Jeff Bolt tournament. It was down in Orlando, Florida. And ironically, that tournament was the amateur tournament was going on. Then the evening was the pay-per-view. The evening pay-per-view was with Kung Lee and Jason Yee fighting in Kung Lee's first pro fight.
I saw that fight.
Yes, I was there. I was there for that.
What?
Yeah.
Well, that's amazing.
So it was like
Kung Lee, he did a movie with Van Damme.
I have his number.
Dragon Eyes.
Yeah,
we got fucked in that tournament. It was like we got royally fucked because we were told the finalists of the amateur tournament, the finals would be on the pay-per-view.
And it wasn't.
No, it wasn't. And we were told that if we made it to the finals, our hotel would be covered.
And it wasn't.
And it wasn't. And then on top of that, they ran out of fucking medals, and I didn't even get my bronze medal because I got a bronze medal at a world tournament. I fought guys from Brazil. I fought guys from around from different parts of the United States.
No soup for you.
I was the only guy, by the way, I had the rep that I was the only guy to be able to throw one of the Brazilian fighters.
That's good.
Yeah. So, but you know, it was what it was. But I got to see that really cool pay-per-view live. That was like, yeah.
Kyung Lee's very good at Sancho.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
And his scissor takedown is, and yeah, I've met him. I have his cell phone number because we when he was an actor, we developed some projects together that never happened, which is pretty much the common thing that happens.
Right.
But you know, I got to chat with him a lot and work on some things. So,
but
yeah,
to your original question with grappling, we were always just fucking around grappling, like, you know, mid-90s, grab a VHS and see what you can learn type grappling.
Yes.
And then so 98 was my first grappling tournament. I went up to Toronto and I competed in the Jean LaBelle World Grappling Challenge.
And you were still with the Sancho?
Yeah.
Okay.
I left there in 99. So this was in 98, and then I went up there, and then after that was such an influential tournament because that was during the dark years of MMA when it was being banned everywhere. So
yeah, and UFC hadn't really figured out
grappling had this little moment, like 1998, ADCC started. There was a pay-per-view. They did two of them called the Contenders, like pro grappling. And then Jean LaBelle had his tournament. Grappler's Quest was born out of that Jean LaBelle tournament because Brian Simmons, who ended up creating Grappler's Quest, competed at that Toronto tournament. So it was a pretty cool tournament to be at. I met a lot of guys. I met like Gary Goodrich and
dang.
Yeah, he won the heavyweight division.
Yeah.
He won the big guys tournament. And then it was a cool tournament to be in. I went 1-1, but it was my first time competing. It was fun. Cool. I met Jeff Blatnick, rest in peace. I met Jean. That's the first time I met Jean LaBelle at that tournament.
A legend.
Yes.
Legend. He's an icon.
By 1999, I was kind of ready to move on from that gym.
Yeah.
And that's when I found Sambo. Yeah.
Okay. We'll come back to that.
Okay.
We're going to go to Paul.
All right, Paul.
Yeah, me.
Yeah, you.
Yeah, you.
So you were a chef.
I was.
You went to school for it.
Well, I didn't go to school for culinary. I went to school for international hotel and business management.
Okay.
The first chef,
adjacent.
the first chef I ever worked for said, "Don't waste your time getting your degree in culinary. Get your degree in business. So that way, when you run your own place, you won't have to depend on anybody." So that's what I did.
And was the Spotted Pig? Was that your first gig or?
No. I had a long tenure. Restaurants before the Spotted Pig.
Yeah.
I had started cooking. Basically, I had left school and took my internship as a real job out in Montana. And then
Montana?
Yeah, out in Montana in Glacier National Park. I was working at the Rising Sun Hotel. I was the front desk host. And
he was the chef for the Donner Party.
Yeah, right? and I... and while I was working there, I had, like, I couldn't deal with people's complaints. They just the shit that they would complain and to get free rooms. And then this one guy, he gave me the greatest complaint I've ever got, but it also was like, I'm fucking done. And I walked in the back and I asked the kitchen for a job. But so this guy comes up to me, and he had to be, at the time, he was probably about Steve's age now, so he was old as fuck. So I'm
older than him, by the way.
We're gonna cut that part out.
So this guy comes up to me and he's like, and he really, really sets me up and baits me in for this. And he's like, "Hey man," he's like, he looks over both of his shoulders. He's like, "I got a question for you." And I'm like, "What?" And he's like, "So when you sit on the toilet," he's like, "Are your balls supposed to touch the water?" And I just started laughing, and I looked at him, and I go, "I don't know, man." I go, "How big are your balls?" So literally
low hanging.
I mean, so he started laughing. He goes, no, literally, every time I flush the toilet, he goes, the water comes all the way up to like 2 centimeters below the rim. So I helped him with the problem, but just after that, I walked into the kitchen and I asked the chef, and I was like, dude, I'm like, I can't deal with fucking, I can't do this anymore. And, I started working in the kitchen after that. And, I immediately I got the kitchen. He made me a sous chef within a week. And, so I just I succeeded in the kitchen, like very quickly. And then from there,
if you haven't seen this guy chop garlic.
Well, that's pretty awesome.
Oh my God.
That video that Tom loves. I asked how many people I could get how many slices of I could get out of like a piece of garlic. And I think it was like 47. 47 slices at a little clove of garlic. But, so then I went to, another part of the resort, like, Many Glacier's huge. So I went and they moved me to another place, to the bigger hotel. And, I was working with actually one of my good friends now, Michael Barbera, who I still talk with. And, he taught me kind of everything I know. And then he and I went to Colorado together, and we were there for a couple of years. And then from there came back to New York. And, basically I got my job at the Spotted Pig because I was,
there.
Yeah, right. I was walking around the city, and this was before, like, when the Food Network was still the Food Network. It had a couple of cooking shows. Mario Batali only had a couple of shows on the Food Network, but he was a huge chef. So I knew who Mario Batali was. I'm walking around in Soho. I'm handing out my resumes, and I see Mario Batali, walking across Broome Street, on West Broadway in Broome, and he's getting in his car. He's got his orange Crocs on. He's got golf bags on, and I run up to him and I just start talking to him.
Yeah.
Right. And chatting it up. And I finally get to the point of where I have a resume and I'm looking for a job, and I hand it to him, and he looks me, and again, he's getting in a cab to go play golf. And he looks at me, and I'm like, hey, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, I've got my resume. And he looks at me, he goes, kid, he goes, I'll give you anything you want. He goes, just promise you're not going to get in the car with me.
Just please stay here.
Basically. So he got me a job at Del Posto, and I went there, and that place is huge. That was a monstrosity of a restaurant. And the chef there, Mark Ladner, amazing guy. I worked there for a couple of weeks, and it was a little too big, and I asked him for something a little more smaller and a little more intimate, to work with a chef a little bit closer, and he sent me to the Spotted Pig, where I worked for a few years with April Broomfield.
And why were you fighting with those 3 guys? Were they assholes?
So
probably, right?
Back in the, back then, on West Broadway in Broome, that was more, that was the cupping room. This was on, West Greenwich.
Yes.
Sorry. So it was on West Greenwich. In that area, there was a lot of the hookers.
Yeah.
So there were a lot of their Johns.
Yep.
And so
don't ask me how I know this.
So that's kind of so that's kind of
it was
how
late 90s.
It was
after that. Right?
It was like 2006, 2005, something in there. So
that would make sense, because that's when you met Geralt.
Yeah, so it was like right around there. So basically, in that era, in that area, that all that shit was still going on in there, and there were just a couple of guys, and they were getting loud with a few of the other people who work in the area, and those people just happened to be, the transvestite hookers. I guess hopefully that's the politically correct way to say that still. And they were kind of. There's a bit of shit going on, and I just was like, shut the fuck up. And then they just decided to all turn on me, and then whatever.
You chased them down the street?
Well, no, we all just started beating the fuck out of each other, and it's one of those things where, like, I don't go down.
No.
So they kind of got tired, and I was still pissed off and raging, and that was when Joe was like, okay, this guy's, maybe I can kind of help this guy calm his shit down.
Yeah.
And I think that was the whole reasoning behind it, because, like,
Joe did an intervention.
Joe, basically, he was like, there's something wrong with this fucking guy.
We all have that moment, really. Yeah. We all have that moment. But what I'm interested in is, so you were a chef then, you started training at Fight House for a couple of years. Then you went to New York Combat Sambo.
Yes.
You met Sambo Steve.
Yes, I did.
Well known.
Yes.
Everybody knows Sambo Steve. And you're still a chef.
Yes.
For how long?
I was a chef for actually a long time, and then I left. I moved to New Jersey for a while. I helped.
That was like 5 years ago, wasn't it?
A friend of mine. No, that was longer than that. It was probably about 10 years ago.
Oh, okay.
Longer, maybe even 12 now. If I break down my marriage and do the timeline that way, which is a little more accurate.
Don't break down.
Don't break down your marriage.
So no, not that way.
Jamie won't be happy about it.
So I went to Jersey. I helped open up 2 restaurants. I helped open up a gelato place and another small bar. And then I was a chef at an Italian restaurant for like 3 years. I wasn't training, wasn't doing anything. And then I was like, after snapping out of a bunch of horse shit, went and talked to Steve one day. And I was like, I need to come back and I need to start training.
Yeah.
And then I also at the same time started doing Krav Maga. Because one of the things that I was like, oh, all of this stuff that I did with Riley and everything was great, but me being a guy who was still getting in fights on the street at the time in New York City, I'm like, if I put someone in an armbar, their friends are going to step on my fucking face.
Yeah.
I need to find something that's going to work.
Yeah.
So I watched an episode of The Human Weapon, and it was a series of episodes of one of which Steve was in. Yep. And there was another episode on Krav Maga, and they went over to 2 different places, and one of them was a gentleman named Itai Gil, and another one was the IKMA in the desert in Netanya. And so I basically sought those guys out, and then I went and trained with them, and still at New York Combat Sambo training with Steve, and then kind of working with Steve and his philosophies towards self-defense made a lot more sense than a lot of the other bullshit. And then when I went to Israel and I learned all of the things that I learned, started talking to Steve about those things, there was he's like, okay, your self-defense isn't stupid. It's based on things. So, he started letting me teach at the gym, a class here, a class there. And that was,
and it happened. Then you quit being a chef.
And then I quit being a chef. Boy, when I think when I got my first job on set, there was Steve and I he's got a couple stories to tell before we get to Breakfall.
We'll get there.
But basically, once we're now getting kind of into the stunt aspect because I was a chef until then. But
your first job on set was as security.
I was security, yes,
for Marvel when it was in New York.
I remember you saying that. Yeah. That's pretty great, man.
It's a great segue.
My favorite comic book character is Iron Fist, and actually this kind of plays in until we make the switch. But my first boss knew who I was. He was a security guy. He knew who I was in the Krav Maga world because I was the first North American to get ever certified by the guy who certified me, and it was kind of a big deal in the small little Krav Maga world that it was.
And how long did you train in Krav Maga?
I trained, I would probably say, after every single day for 3.5, 4 years before I went to get my certification, which took me over a year to get.
Yeah. They're not easy to get.
And again, I was the first North American certified by an ex-commander of Yamam. So I did not have an easy time. The first time he met me, he watched me hit the bag and he looked at me and he offered to return my money for the class and said he wouldn't certify me. And Steve knows me well enough to know it's just like, that's just motivation. So I was like, no, keep my money. I'm taking your class.
Yeah.
And then I also realized that I think it was because no one else signed up and I was the only student and he just wanted to go on vacation.
It's probably I can empathize. That's probably it. I can empathize with that too.
Dude, well, you can too. You run there's nothing worse than like morning class and like nobody shows up and you're like, what am I doing here?
No, well, it's worse when one person shows up.
Yeah.
And it's always the same person. I don't want to say it's worse, but it's just how,
We teach because we want people there.
Yeah.
And when there's nobody there.
It sucks. It's like a kick to the nuts, kind of. I hate it when students aren't in class, you know.
So you went to Sambo after Sancho.
Yes.
But it was another Sambo guy there. Right? Somebody you trained with, if I recall.
So it was 99, and I was leaving New York Kung Fu and Kickboxing. A bunch of us left at the same time.
Yeah.
And then one of those guys was like, hey, there's this Russian guy teaching at Fight House. This is before Riley. This is like Riley was actually, after all that, ironically. And I was just looking around, so I just ended up going to try a class, and I was hooked. And that was Alexander Barakov, my teacher.
Were you still working at the college then, or somewhere else?
Let's
you weren't
see.
teaching then.
No, I wasn't teaching. I was still working at that time. I was still a child life specialist and art therapist at Maimonides Medical Center.
Yes, I remember that. Yeah, you were talking about that.
Peds oncology and pediatric intensive care.
So you were just training and working and training.
Training and working and training. Yeah.
And when did it shift over for you taking over the school?
That was in 2003 because Alex would say, Steve, I'm going back to Russia one of these days. You're going to take over. You're going to be the guy. And I would just humor him and be like, yeah, I'll do it. I'll do it. Yeah, sure.
Anything.
And then one day he's like, all right, I have my ticket. I'm like, what? So I just took over, and then it wasn't easy because like some of the students only knew me as an instructor there because like at a certain point he started having me teach, but other students came up the ranks with me.
Yeah.
So they did
a bit of weirdness.
Yeah, they didn't view me that way, which is fine. I totally understand that. Yeah. So like, and then I showed up to Fight House I'll be very clear. Alex didn't do this in a very professional way. Alex was a strange guy. He liked to keep secrets. It was sort of his Spetsnazi, KGB way about himself.
Right.
He just is like, he told very select few of us he was going back to Russia, and we were like, you got to tell the students. And his answer was, oh, people die every day. They'll deal with it.
They'll figure it out.
Yeah. And we're like, but you're not dying. You're just moving. You're just moving, you're just
man.
going home. He's like, don't tell them. And we're like, okay. So what happened was I showed up for the first class. He didn't even tell them. He didn't even tell Peggy and Edgar, who were running Fight House. He didn't tell them he was leaving.
Oh, wow.
He left them like a Dear John letter. Basically, he left them a letter saying, I'm gone. Steve's taking over. So I showed up. I showed up to teach my first class, and they had already hired David Rudman, Sambo legend, sports Sambo legend, to take Alex's place. So I just took the class with David, which was great, except all of us were doing combat Sambo. We were used to fighting with knives, doing all this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And he was just sports Sambo guy.
Yeah. It's very different.
Yeah. So like after that class, a bunch of the old Alex students were like, Steve, you got to find another place. So it took me about a month. I found another place. But in that time, a lot of the old Alex students just showed up and everybody was gone. And they had no idea like where anybody went or anything.
Right.
And then so by the time I started teaching at what was then called New York Sanda, which is one of the co-owners, one of the owners of New York Kung Fu and Kickboxing, I was renting from him to teach. And, I started having a whole new group of students. Some students found, some of the old Barakov students that I was close with knew where we were, like Serge Gerlach and, a bunch of the guys, like 5 or 6 of the guys stuck around. A bunch of guys left that didn't view me as an instructor or whatever. And then some people that didn't know Alex was leaving and didn't know that I left just thought it all just ended.
Yeah.
So then about a year or two later, I put out an ad in AM New York. And then some of the old Barakov students were like, what? He's still around? And then so I got some of those guys back.
Oh,
and then,
nice.
But that's kind of how I ended up inheriting a club.
Right.
Yeah. And then I did that from 2003 to 2005. And in 2005, I retired from the medical center to just do martial arts full time.
Well, I remember we talked about that. Yeah. I mean, that's how a lot of us end up with the club. I mean, I'm running a school now, and it just sort of accidentally happened.
I didn't plan on opening a club. Yeah. It was always sort of like maybe my retirement plan. Someday I'll just train my whole life, and someday when I don't have a real job, I'll just do this to make extra money.
Yeah.
But it became my real job.
Yeah.
So.
And it's your passion. I mean, let's face it, you guys.
Yeah.
You're passionate about it. Now, here's the interesting thing, because we're going to transition into the next level of your career. But I met you at one of Steve's classes. And I remember you talked about him a lot, but I didn't.
Right.
I just knew this name, Paul. And then, but there was some sort of really great move, and I'm like, I was watching it. I said, hey, can you show me that? He said, well, just ask Paul. It's Paul's move. And then I asked you about it, and you showed it to me. I forget which one it was.
It could be any number of
It could be any
moves.
number.
Yeah.
It was a grappling move. I was like, this is really awesome. And so we've only known each other for a few years. I met Steve right before you got into stunts, actually.
Yeah.
I think about a year before when you started training BJJ at my school.
Yep.
And then we started rolling together there. And you know, obviously, the word got around quick.
He's not a white belt. He's not a real white belt.
He starts throwing people over their heads.
Right.
Yeah, the word gets around quick. And but I think I ran into you right after John Wick, and you mentioned it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's when you said
something like that.
Yeah. And that's when it sort of became.
Yeah, that tracks because that's about 10 years ago.
Yeah,
so,
John Wick came out in 2014, so it was around the same time. And then I would, because we live in the same neighborhood, right? We would still bump into each other all the time. And then you'd say, yeah, you know, I'm doing another thing. This might turn into a thing. Yeah. I remember you saying that. Yeah. This might turn into a thing. And then now, of course, it's more than just a thing. It's a second career.
Yeah, yeah.
And but I never really got the story how you fell into the very first gig, and that's what I'd like to hear. And then I know because we already heard you were a security guard first, right?
Yeah.
Did you do any stand-ins or any of that stuff, or?
No, my first job, my first 3 jobs were basically given to me by Norm. Like my first 3 jobs to really get me into stunts by Norm Douglas, and on those
at that time he was the stunt coordinator for Gotham,
right?
And and literally at that time, I got he gave me 3 days, and I did stand-in work on those 3 days, and then. On my last day, when I was getting my last voucher, he pulled me aside and he goes, and he basically was like, look, he goes, you did your background work and you did the stand-in work to get your vouchers. He goes, but I don't want to see you doing background work or stunt work again, or stand-in work. You know, if you want to continue, being stunts, just take the stunt work. So that was basically, right from there, I was like, okay, I need to get my SAG card. I need to, get everything so I can start getting jobs.
What was your first gig? First gag?
My first official gag was a previs for Daredevil season 3.
What did you have to do?
I was a goon, and someone was getting kidnapped, and then Daredevil came and beat the fuck out of us. And kicked me out of the back of a van.
Every fight
sounds like a good episode. Oh wait, that's every episode.
And kicked me out of the back of a van. It was great. And then it was one of the first things that they said was like, "Hey, look, if you're good in the previs, let's use you for the episode."
Yeah,
but I wasn't good in the previs.
Oh, but you still got paid.
So I still got paid, but it was So
you learned.
I learned, and I learned, and I got one of the greatest bits of advice, I guess you could say, that. Will always stay with me, and it was from Don Lee, because I was shooting with Don Lee, Chris Brewster, and Evan Taylor, which are pretty nerve-wracking your first day, because even if you're good at martial arts, you're not as good as fucking those guys are. So, I was working with them, and I was having a hard time playing the part of a goon.
Hard to believe, I know.
Right? No fucking joke.
Just stop acting, man.
Dude, yep. That's literally the advice John gave me on Punisher. He's like, just be yourself.
Stop trying to act.
So basically at the end of 4 days, I was having some trouble, and they were all really, really nice and taking the time to talk to me. And Don was like, he goes, you need to be the guy that you teach your students to avoid.
Ah, interesting.
That was the look on my face. And he looks at me and he goes, you just understand everything I've been trying to tell you for 4 days, didn't you? And I was like, and he's like, yep. He's like, I can't be, I got to be honest with you. I wish you got it 3 days ago. Yeah. He's like, but I'm glad you got it.
So, okay, that's good. And your first gig was Wick, right?
Not my first union gig.
That was my first union gig. Yeah.
Oh, okay. What's your first union gig?
My first union gig was Blacklist.
And I remember that.
Yeah. So how I got it, I did work on Wick.
But Wick was before that, though.
Wick,
right?
I was Wick 2. Wick 1, they came to the gym looking for hire bad guys. Right. But nobody knew what Wick 1 was. Wick 1. It was just John Wick. Nobody knew. It wasn't
even called John Wick then. It was called Scorn.
Exactly. Yeah. And it was just some indie film that, whatever. So I didn't even have stunts on my radar. I didn't know Chad Stahelski and David Leach. These guys walked into my gym. I had no idea who they were.
Yeah.
We're looking for Russians to play bad guys, and I referred them to Vlad Kulikov, who ended up getting cast. Then Wick 2 comes around, and Chad's assistant calls me, and hey, Chad would like to meet with you, see if you want to work on Wick 2. And I still wasn't union yet, so this was what, like 2015 or they were something like that in 2015 or 2016. And maybe 2015. And then
2015 when they were shooting it. We ran into each other, I remember.
So I ended up going to meet with Chad, and he brings me in to work with them at rehearsals, and but I wasn't union, so I never got on camera, but I got to work with them for a few days. I was there for Keanu's first rehearsal days, and I spent a couple hours with them workshopping me. They would because they knew back then that Wick was going to be a Sambo guy.
Yeah.
It wasn't revealed yet, but so it was Jason, who was it? I forget, but there was a bunch of the A711 guys there, and they were just like, all right, well, if you had a gun in this hand, how would you do that throw? If you only had this hand,
Samba moves.
Yeah, they just recorded me, doing it, for a couple hours, and then JJ Perry was the supervising stunt coordinator. So he was like, "Hey, come back and hang out." And this was all for no money and stuff. I didn't really care. It was just in the door.
Yeah,
right?
It was just an experience.
So I come out and hung out and watch rehearsals and stuff like that, and then got invited to the rap party, and it was cool. And then so around the same time, one of our Film Fights with Friends producer, Matt Kaplowitz, and I did a documentary together about New York stunt community.
Yes.
And so I met a whole bunch of people in the community in that documentary, one of whom was Tina McKissick. And Tina at the time was Court Hessler's assistant, and Court was stunt coordinating the Blacklist. And so kind of like what happened with Paul with being security and getting to meet everybody, know everybody, by the time we got in union, they were like, "Hey, you ready to work?" or whatever.
Yeah.
So the same thing happened to me. I got in union, and then Tina was like, "Okay, I got a job for you." She submitted me to Court. I got a job.
She did the same thing for me.
Yeah.
Court was my first official job.
Yeah.
Now I want to meet her.
On
on
screen.
She lives in Atlanta now. Now she lives in Atlanta. She moved down there.
I'm probably too old anyway, but
so Tina, we love you.
And then I remember the Blacklist episode.
It was great. And the baddie of the week was Brent Spiner, and I was a little nerding out because it's like Data, Star Trek. Man.
Yeah.
So I was one of his goons, and then I had a great time. I just had to get shot, fall down, a couple, whatever, simple stuff. I was on camera a lot. I had to apprehend people and just be.
Yeah, you were in that black leather jacket on the rooftop, carrying automatic. I remember it yesterday. I was like, "Hey, I know that guy."
And then, so after the day was over, Court never said anything to me. He was like, never great job, never bad job, nothing. It was just and I just left there thinking I must have fucked up. But then he called me back again 2 weeks later. So my second job was also on Blacklist. I was doubling. His name escapes me. I'm kind of embarrassed because I didn't meet him. I was on second unit. Just
yeah, and that's how it happens oftentimes.
Yeah. But and then my third job was Punisher. Yeah.
And did you guys knew each other by then?
Oh yeah.
You were really close. So then sort of happened simultaneously.
We started the stunt journey together. We decided to go into this stuff together.
Yeah. Okay. Once we kind of after I came back from Israel, and we basically our stunt journey kind of started shortly thereafter.
Yeah. I mean, once you started saying, "I think this is going to be a thing."
We were driving up to Montreal to do a tournament. He was just coming along to hang and help. And then I was a referee. I was going to be a referee at a combat wrestling tournament up in Montreal. And we came up with the idea for Breakfall Studios on that drive to Montreal. And that was in 2015. So we founded Breakfall Studios in 2015.
Yeah.
Almost
10 years ago. Yeah. And I pick all this up because I was having lunch with him once in a while. Usually bump into him in the street.
Yeah.
Because he wasn't training at the gym where I was training anymore. But we knew a lot of the same people. So
I trained at your place for a couple of years and moved on. And then when you took over, I started coming back.
Yeah. But it's he
ranked me in jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, I should be. I was one of the guys because I was like, he can't be wearing a white
I didn't
belt.
want to rank because a couple times you're like, dude, let me promote you, and I was like, nah, I don't care about that. I kept saying no, and then one day he just did it without asking me.
Take it before I strangle you with it. Sick of seeing that white belt on you. The other thing that I would say that because, well, look, let's face it, we're martial art nerds. Mm-hmm. There's a subgenre of the nerds, mm-hmm. and it's martial art nerds. Mm-hmm. But the interesting, fascinating thing about you two guys is that you're not only martial art nerds, you are film nerds to the 10th degree.
But that's
But I mean, you know, so was it natural? Were you a film nerd before you became a stunty, or did it happen after?
No, I was film nerd from childhood. Mm-hmm. So, like, my original plan, when I was growing up, I wanted to be in movies.
That's amazing.
And I would make movies on Super 8, mm-hmm. and I would do stuff, and then even my whole plan to go to college, I ended up going to School of Visual Arts. Mm-hmm. I got a full scholarship for advertising and graphic design. Mm-hmm. But the plan was really to use that to learn how to make commercials with the goal of becoming a filmmaker. Mm. So that was always the plan.
Yeah.
But in my mind, even growing up as a kid, I never wanted to be in front of the camera. I always wanted to be behind the camera.
Right.
And I always wanted to be like, I remember like American Werewolf in London was so inspirational to me. It was the first movie to get an Oscar, the special effects, and all that. And I went to filmmaking camp. Like my friends in junior high school went to camp. I went to New York Institute of Technology, had camp for kids, and it was for filmmaking.
Oh, wow.
So I did that for 3 summers where I learned how to shoot and edit. And every summer we would do from script to screen a movie, all the kids, with the film students of the college.
Right.
So that's just something I always wanted to do. And then I sort of went on a detour, in life.
We all do.
But the constant was martial arts, right? So then martial arts brought me back to it.
Yeah.
And that was through Human Weapon, not doing stunts, but just kind of getting back involved in the industry. Yeah. And then, of course, YouTube. I started my YouTube channel in 2005 when YouTube was brand new.
Yeah.
And I started making, instructional films, little martial art videos and stuff. So I was always making stuff. Mm-hmm. But it was martial arts that got me back into the business, so to speak, like through Human Weapon and then the Travel Channel, like doing reality shows, which was, as you know, like during the 2007, the writer strike, the reality shows went, and that's where I kind of got back in through the martial arts.
Yeah, yeah.
And then one thing led to another. Then I started producing more short films, and then I did the Choke Artist short film, which got me to meet Doug Crosby, who was Darren Aronofsky's stunt coordinator, because Aronofsky was considering doing a TV show. So had a few meetings. Myself and Sean Fitzgerald, who wrote Choke Artist, had like 3 meetings over at Aronofsky's production office. We never ended up doing anything with them,
right?
But met Doug Crosby, and he was like, you should think about stunts. You're into the filmmaking. You're a martial artist. The fight scene in this short was really good. And then, so 2014 is sort of, for me, the benchmark of when the light bulb went off. Like,
when it came together.
Oh, stunts. I can do that.
Yeah.
I can combine all this stuff, my love for film, my love for fighting, martial arts, and all that. So like 10 years ago, basically.
Paul, what about you? I mean, look, guys, I was a video store clerk back when we had VCRs. I was a bit of a film nerd.
I used to work at Blockbuster.
I got nothing on you. Nothing on you two guys, because you guys get the gear, you got the collection, the collectibles.
That's him. He's the collectible guy.
Still, you have your own fair share.
I do.
Yeah, I mean,
he got all of his good stuff from me.
Yeah, I mean,
not the Star Trek good stuff.
I got that comp phone you have is awesome.
I'm in awe. And I'm, like I said, I wouldn't say I'm a complete film nerd or a complete theater nerd. I'm just sort of curious in that regard. Probably more of a martial art nerd than anything else. But you guys are full film fanatics. And were you always that way, Paul? Or?
I mean, my dad was always sneaking me off when I was a kid to see. I mean, I saw RoboCop when I was 8 years old. I'll never forget it. It was a Monday. My dad, instead of taking me to school on a Monday morning, he kept me home, and then we went and saw a matinee of RoboCop, and then he dropped me off to third grade.
Oh man.
And I mean, I remember like he was doing these like during some of the scenes, and of course I'm like,
a little bit.
So movies was always a big deal for me because it was kind of like how I spent my time with my dad. Now my stepfather was a piece of shit, not my dad. My dad was.
No, I got that. Yeah.
So that was just kind of how I got into watching movies. And I mean, we watched a lot of movies. Like my parents were divorced, so when I went and hung out with my dad on the weekends, it was just a movie marathon.
But isn't that's the way things were, man? Like I got into movies because of my dad too. My dad, every summer, my dad and I would take like a father-son trip. We would go to like some historical place, like Gettysburg or like whatever. But we would always see. That's where I saw Star Wars. I saw Star Wars 1977 on the road on some father-son trip with my dad. He once took me once to a movie. He took me to Female Trouble. He didn't know what it was. I remember we walked out of it, right?
Yeah.
I remember being like 11 and watching the Kentucky Fried Movie with my dad and my brother.
Oh my God. Yeah. But the movies, those were like these like really important times, like going to see movies with family and stuff like that. I mean, even Star Trek, right? Like I grew up of the time, in the syndication era, like the first wave of like sort of reruns. And once a week, every week, the whole family would sit down and watch Star Trek. Like it was a family thing.
Yeah.
We'd sit down and watch it.
Yeah.
And what did that lead to? That lead to me making little dioramas and Star Trek, buying figures and all that kind of stuff and taking pictures of them and shooting movies with them, and just all that kind of just coalesced into this love for sort of storytelling. Like if you were to ask my mom, she'd be like, I was the one always doing like on Thanksgiving, all the family would be around, I'd be the one doing a play or a theater or dancing around or doing some show.
Right,
like that was just me.
Yeah.
When I was one of the things I always used to do when I was a kid, I would always get in trouble. Me and my friend George and John, the three of us, always in the principal's office for fighting, but we were never fighting because we would always fake fight.
Yeah.
But I was the one who was like, okay, no one believes us anymore that we're just going to start fighting with each other at recess. I'm like, we got to get pissed at each other first period.
And let
it boil over and have everyone want us to fight at recess.
Yeah.
So we started getting called in the office because we just started pretending we hated each other.
So you started fixing fights at a very young age.
Man. And then it got to a point of where like there were just certain things we couldn't fake, and like some of them would notice, they're like, they're faking again, and everybody would leave. But that was and I used to love running past the principal's office and pretending to trip. And then, because the floors were like smooth, so you get like a good trip, and then you get a good slide, and you slide across the office, and like the assistant's like,
risky business.
Never able to stay on my feet.
Where did you grow up?
I grew up. I was born in Queens. Grew up mostly in Connecticut and Chelsea.
Yeah. I know you're born in New York. Right?
Born and raised in Queens. Never left Queens.
Yeah.
Originally Elmhurst.
I mean, I also think movies for guys of our age, right?
19, 20, 21. Yeah.
Where they have a dual purpose. They're an escape, obviously. And if you have a troubled childhood, which I did and you did, it's the best escape. But it's also a possible future, right? A possible alternative future, because where I grew up in Iowa, and I grew up in a town of 300 people, and never saw an Asian person until I went to college in real life. And there wasn't a whole lot of them on TV. It was just Bruce Lee.
Right.
And I don't think I spoke to a non-white person until college. I mean, I've seen them, but I didn't speak to them.
Right.
But when you went to movies like Eddie Murphy and Beverly Hills Cop, which came out in '84, everybody's doing, or when Eddie Murphy did Delirious.
Oh my gosh.
The next day we're all, I had some ice cream. And it was a way of really
cake.
Yeah.
Chocolate cake.
It became a way of connecting with people all around the world. And I think for me it was defined that way. And it's very different now because I have kids, you have a kid, and I have to keep reminding myself that it's not the same. Everything's changed. And it also changed from when my father was a young boy.
Yeah.
And so I'm interested Well, first of all, before we get into that, that's a deep.
I have a question for you.
Uh-oh. Okay,
No question.
So going. No. I got a question. This is a good one. So because our backgrounds were a bit similar, I had a movie that was an escape movie for me. You know, we had VCRs, so you had to own the movie, and you really, it wasn't like you could go somewhere and just buy a movie.
Right. No.
So kind of the movies that you had or you got were what you had. What was your escape movie?
Enter the Dragon.
Enter the Dragon was your escape movie.
Yeah.
So that was VCR, like when shit was really bad, like I always had one movie I would throw on that I would just, that was my escape movie.
We used to get drunk and just watch it over and over. And we took it from a Blockbuster, and then we had a friend that had a dual thing, and copped it up. And then
nice.
We would go train. Then we get a bunch of beer and we sit and watch Enter the Dragon over and over again.
I mean, when you were a kid.
Oh. Well, we didn't have VCRs when I was a kid.
No, when I was a kid, we didn't have VCRs.
We didn't get cable until I was 16. And so it was a very barren wasteland.
Yeah, I guess by the time I was still like I was a teenager when VCRs were like pretty much probably 11 or 12. Like I remember them, but I guess that makes sense. Like,
yeah, but we did go to movies. Like Steve, I saw Star Wars when it originally came out. I think I was 8 or 9.
But I remember when Star Wars first came on network television.
Oh, it was huge.
And I recorded it on my VCR.
Yeah, I did.
And I wish I still had it because it's the original.
And Han shot first. Yeah, what do you mean still have it? I have it.
No, I know, but I wish I had my original VHSs.
Well, I also saw Raiders of the Lost Ark, which was a huge influence.
That was for me. That was more influential than Star Wars.
Yeah,
that really tapped into a certain archetype of manliness that chivalry, but tough. But
even deeper than that, my parents used to take us to drive-in movies because they were a young couple and we would be two kids in the back, and they'd always hope we'd fall asleep. Instead, they would fall asleep and we watched the movie. We saw a lot of very inappropriate movies.
Yeah.
But one that I remember distinctly to this day is the original Longest Yard with Burt Reynolds.
Oh,
nice.
God, so good.
And and talk about this idea of honor.
Yeah.
That whole movie's about that. And it was very influential. But this leads into the next question.
Shoot.
Okay. Most important movie to your existence?
Wow.
Yeah, it's a deep one, right?
I don't know if I could pick just one, but I think probably if I had gun to my head, Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Yeah, Raiders of the Lost Ark.
That really, I think, tapped into a certain, that was 1981. Yeah. I was 13. I went right back into the theater, saw it again.
Yeah.
It was just
It's pretty amazing, and it still holds up.
It was awesome.
It still holds up.
And
very influential.
Yeah.
You got to travel around the world. You got to have adventures.
Yeah, I just loved everything about it.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, Paul. If you need to have two, you can.
That's tough.
It is tough, right?
Behind the green door.
Because
well, I mean, look, we're all shaped by several movies. Like the Breakfast Club was.
That was
for me.
that was.
But I can't watch it today. But it was very influential. So I wouldn't say it's as looms as large today as some of the other movies I've seen. But it definitely looms up there. Longest Yard looms up there. A bunch of movies I probably shouldn't even mention.
Right.
Because I was too young to see them. And I saw them anyway. I saw Death Race 2000 with my parents.
Oh my God!
David Carradine at the and that movie is great.
He was the actual. Sorry, he was the driver in the remake with Jason Statham. He was the original Frankenstein, which was really great.
It's really great. Sylvester Stallone's in that movie. There's a whole bunch of people in that movie.
I remember my father taking me to see Close Encounters.
Oh, right.
And I was expecting a Star Wars type movie.
And it's not.
It's not.
It's actually kind of scary.
I was like, oh my God. I was mesmerized by that movie.
What's his name? Joss Whedon. That's his most influential movie. He was in London when he saw it, and he went back, saw it again. And to him, to this day, it's the most important movie in his existence. And a lot of it has to do with the existential aspect of it. So that's why I find this fascinating to see what's the most... And it can evolve, right?
Sure.
The movie that influenced you the most 30 years ago is going to be different than, as we grow, we change.
Well, you didn't say influenced.
Defining movie.
Yeah, no. So that, I mean, for me, I guess I would say the movie that stands out the most, I guess, would be Always.
Interesting.
Oh, really?
Choice.
Yeah.
Wow.
I love that movie.
Holly Hunter,
John Goodman, Richard Dreyfuss, Steven Spielberg movie.
Yeah.
Great movie. That was one of those. That was one of the few movies I had in the VCR. So
Was Audrey Hepburn in that movie?
I had such a crush on Holly Hunter.
I don't think so.
Okay. Maybe I'm thinking of something else.
It was really the movie really was just kind of like just the three of them. It wasn't like a big thing, but he was the pilot and he flew the planes in and he put out the Fires in the Woods, right?
Yeah.
Like amazing movie. But that was the movie I had in the house when like shit was bad. That was what went on. That was the movie that like made me get emotional.
Just made you human, man.
Yeah.
And I think that's, there's a movie that was very similar to that I don't think a lot of people seen, called Bless the Beasts and the Children. Mm-hmm. And I think you'd like that movie, but it's a very hard movie to watch. And it's based on a book. And the only person I can think of that you guys would know is the guy that played the original Will Robinson was in it.
Oh, wow.
He was an actor. He was in everything, Hitchcock. And it's about these guys who are trying to save these buffaloes, these kids, from being slaughtered.
Oh, shit.
And it was very moving. And when I was a youngster, it was like that for me. And because I'm crazy, I went and I got the book and I read it. And you have those movies because they remind you of our humanity, And we need that stuff. I think for me, my number one movie is still your favorite too.
Last of the Mohicans.
And it's such a fascinating film because it's not based on the novel, really. It's based on the screenplay of an earlier version of it.
Right.
And
what's the deal with how much did you ever read the original No, not the book. The 1936 screenplay that was originally.
I don't think I have. Now you got me going. But I mean, that movie still to this day. I would say before that I was influenced by Cyrano de Bergerac. I'm too much of a romantic. Dying nobly for someone who doesn't love you to me sounds great. Paul's going, yeah, I can see that.
I get that.
That makes sense. Yeah. That makes sense. And I think there's a correlation between that. I do think that it's probably going to evolve, and I embrace that. You make me want to go watch Always because I haven't seen it since 1990 or 91, whenever it came out. Because I used to see everything.
Yeah.
Everything.
Yeah.
Whether it was good or bad, I saw it. And that was a good time. Now I want to go watch it. I know a little bit of the story, so I can see why it speaks to you. It's fascinating what hits us. I find a lot of existential stuff like Castaway with Tom Hanks. The end of Castaway just blows my fucking mind. I was in tears at the end of it. It's very existential. He's standing at the crossroads.
Yeah.
And I find that very fascinating, excuse me, how it relates to us. And when you see things, you connect to it. So there's obviously something in Always that you connect to, and you still connect to. But, my son used to love Thomas the Tank Engine. And it was his biggest thing in the world. You're probably right in the middle of that now, right? I mean, huge. Yeah. And now he never thinks of it.
Yeah.
But I always think these things are stepping stones to help prepare us for life. And in a sense, death.
Sure.
Because in movies, people die. And it helps us accept our own humanity, in a sense, the limitations of our own humanity. And I think that's, to me, what makes the combination of what you guys do and a little bit what I do too is we combine all that. I mean, we learn how to kill people. Let's not tiptoe around it. Krav Maga isn't about being nice. Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is not about being nice. Even Taekwondo didn't used to be because sometimes they die. Right? Yeah. Martial arts is it's in the name. Martial warfare. Yet at the same time, I grew up watching Billy Jack, another very influential movie on me.
Yeah, for sure.
And Born Losers, the one he did. I saw Born Losers at a drive-in with my family. And I didn't know what it was. I had to go back and find it later. Because I saw Billy Jack and I said, but that's not what I remember him doing. And then I found out he created the character for this other movie and then came, excuse me, sorry about that.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's a long story. What I'm saying is that we do this stuff, we learn how to take life, but the reality is it's not why we're learning it. And I think when we create, and you guys can interrupt whenever you want, it's about extending life, living forever in a sense. And that's what I think movies are. You know, certain movies live forever, and they're always going to live forever.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. The good ones.
And I think, excuse me, coming to grips with that is something very important. You know, when we're on the mats, we're tapping out. It's like a video game. Oh, I died, but I get to relive again. I write a movie. The guy dies. I write another one.
Yeah, yeah. We get to do do-overs.
Yeah,
remember when you were a kid? You played.
Yeah, it's a way of exploring who we're going to be.
Yeah.
Right. So you know, originally you're going to be a film director, and then you went into art therapy, and you were doing that for a long time. But you kept pushing, and then look where you're at. It's finally full circle.
Well,
I mean, come on, you were a chef.
Yeah, no. I think what's interesting about all three of us, you included, because you didn't start out. You were acting, and you were doing different things, and then we've all embraced the notion that you can reinvent yourself.
Yeah, yeah.
And that is, I think that's just the key. That there's a certain freedom in believing that. Well, if this doesn't work out, I'll just do something else, and you just believe it.
Yeah,
you know?
and I don't.
It's not even about something not working out. You're just allowing, if a door opens, feeling free to walk through it. You know.
Yeah, and I think it's also about finding out who we really are.
Yeah.
Excuse me. I mean, we talked about this before. I found the most valuable personal insights have been when I'm getting the shit kicked out of me.
Totally.
On a mat.
It's a microcosm.
It's a safe place.
It's a microcosm of our life in a safe container.
Right.
And we can take risks. We can fail there. It's a microcosm of how you face struggle in real life.
Yeah.
Learn how to face struggle on the mat.
And that's what I tell the kids. You make your mistakes here where it doesn't matter, so you don't make them out there where it really matters. So you shouldn't be drunk when you fight three guys. Try to be sober.
It's not just about fighting, though, right? It's about, like, the boss calls you into the office, and then how do you feel? Yeah. You know, or whatever. Any kind of struggle.
How do you deal with it? Yeah, it's it's interesting, and I find it fascinating because, and this is, I share with Paul, I have a very troubled childhood. And for me, the gym has always been a safe place. And a lot of people don't view it.
It should be. It should be.
Oh, it should be.
It should be that. And it bothers me. I mean, we can go off. We can do a whole nother 2 hours on this, on training spaces, but it bothers me when gyms are not like that.
And they weren't when I was younger. They weren't. In fact, you pissed off the master, he was going to give you a beating.
Yeah.
And that was, in the 80s, very common. Very common. I mean, you would shatter your ego as well.
Yep. But my feeling is that is a place where you need, like you said, you need to feel safe enough to take risks and allow yourself to fail.
Yes.
And if that is a concern, if you're at a place that you feel like you can't take the risks, you can't be vulnerable, you can't fail, you can't do all these things that you need to grow.
If you do.
Yes.
Then you need to leave that place.
Well, I mean,
or if you're the toughest guy there, leave.
Yeah.
Find somewhere where you're not.
If you're the toughest guy in your gym, leave.
Yep.
Yeah. That's a great point right there. And I think from as long as I've known you, and if I've known you, I think that a part of this is really you're sculpting and finding out truly what's underneath all that stuff. Because we carry with us all this baggage. And the martial arts is, someone tells me, does that make you a bad person if you're a killer? I said, well, it's just going to make you better at doing that. But your true personality is going to be exposed. So whenever there's a douchebag on the mat, and if you're out there listening, we know who you are. Correct me if I'm wrong. We know it the minute they step.
Yep.
Oh, yeah, you could tell.
You can tell who the douchebag is, who's going to do dirty stuff.
Yeah.
Before you even, and I say he because generally it's always a he, but not always.
Not always.
Or who's going to go something from like 30% to 100% just to win.
Yes. And to me, I think the interesting thing about martial arts is you cannot hide.
Yeah.
You can't hide behind things, especially in the grappling arts. You can't hide behind bullshit.
No.
You either do it or you don't.
Yeah.
And you have to accept failure. And we've met a lot of people, they never tap, and There's a guy I know that's still a blue belt after 15 years because he doesn't like to tap, so he doesn't ever get better.
Right.
You don't get better without failing.
Yep.
And I just find the journey that you two are on, the melding of the stunt world and the entertainment. And, I'm fortunate that I met him when he was just starting that. And I find it fascinating. And I think it's listening to you guys talk. And then I remember the first day you had the idea for this podcast. Weren't you at my gym when you had the idea?
Maybe.
I think you were there.
I might have been for a Saturday class.
It's like, we should do something like Fights with Friends. And you're like, oh my God.
Yeah.
That's a great time. Seriously, you were there. And now look, you have a whole entire season behind it.
Well, then our producer, Matt, said to me, you've been on like 50 podcasts. You should have your fucking own podcast. And by the way, we just started the studio. Yep. And then I went to Paul and said, hey, Paul, let's have a podcast. He's like, all right, cool.
All right. We're going to drink beer? Let's drink beer.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about movies? Yeah.
You're probably right. I probably just told you about it.
I think, because I remember you going, isn't that a great title? And I said, that's a fucking awesome title.
Yeah.
I mean, and to me, when that happens, it always makes me a little happy.
Yeah.
When those small things happen. Like I was saying, one of my best friends is an actor, and he's in the Netflix series The Diplomat. Ato Asando.
Yeah, I love that show.
And he was in a bunch of my plays.
Yeah.
And he was a chemical engineer. He went to Cornell and graduated with a degree in it. His father's a chemical engineer. And he wasn't happy. This is what he'll tell you. He wasn't happy doing that. And he walked away from all of it and just moved to New York, was being a bouncer and taking acting class. And his whole entire family was like, I don't know what you're doing. This is and then, but now look at him today.
Yeah.
And it's not even, I get what you mean when you say reinvention, but to me, it's about discovering what's truly there.
It's like archaeology.
Yes. Yes. And that's what fascinates me about martial arts. Like I said, you can't really hide your heart when you're on there. Not if you want to be any good.
Yeah.
That's my thing. I think if you're going to be really good, you have to show who you really are. And I think that's true of acting as well. And to be on this, I gave you guys a bunch of shit at the beginning, but to be on this journey with you from the beginning to the end, it's just
cool.
Really, it's really awesome, because usually they get some director out here. They don't really have the writers that often or an actor, but we are the guys, you guys are the glue. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. It doesn't happen without, that's the thing that is always fascinating to me when you go to a movie. If you've been to a movie set, like you've been to a set, how many people are there? It's a massive, it's a massive undertaking.
Yeah, it's huge.
And it's just really special to sit there and think, well, like we talked about, like I had posters of Van Damme on my college dorm room, and now I get calls from him.
Yeah, it's crazy, right?
Yeah, and you were the movie geek, you're the movie geek, and now you're in movies. And in a way, if we had gone back in time and say, hey, if you could be a stuntman, would you like that? The young you would say, fucking hey, yeah.
Yeah.
Same for you, right? And it just took you that long to get here.
Yep.
I'm doing a lot of monologuing like a comic pavilion. I'm sorry, but
no, it's all right, man.
It just struck me while I was listening.
Yeah.
It's like this. It's a full circle, and I find that fascinating. And
so people will have to tune into season 2 to see
what's next.
Right?
What's next? That's right.
Yeah, dude. Thank you so much for
thank you for
taking the host chair.
Right?
The guest host chair.
I'm like, it was nice to kind of have a break.
Yeah,
almost,
totally.
And
We
just
didn't
talk.
have to. It was so great. I was like, we don't have to do any research for
Right?
this episode.
And I knew what I was going to ask you guys. I knew. I was
sure.
like, I was like, all right, now I'm going to figure out the Paul with the chef thing. Cool. And how did he get in? And then I didn't think that it started by you, chasing 3 guys down the street. But that makes sense now. It makes sense.
Well, dude, thank you so much.
No, thank you guys.
Appreciate you coming in for
Appreciate
this.
you having me
This
on
is awesome.
to do this.
And don't interrupt our introduction again.
All right, I won't. I promise.
Yeah. So, thanks to everybody for tuning in and watching, and we'll see you in season
2.
2.
Dos.
Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Episode 2 was pretty good. Film Fights with Friends is brought to you by Breakfall Studios.
Executive producers Stephen Koepfer, Paul Varacchi, Thiago Benedetti. Produced by Press Record Studios with Matthew Kaplowitz and Richard Butler. Associate producers Becca GT and Jared DiCroce. Edited by Matthew Kaplowitz. Associate producers Becca GT and Jared DiCroce. Edited by Matthew Kaplowitz. Original music by Ahrue Luster.